Hi, my name's Matt, and today I'm going to tell you about one of my favorite subjects on something that I just discovered the last couple of months that is just so cool. And that is how you find video ideas that work. I have created a couple of different videos in the past about this, with an idea farm or an idea this or that. And let me tell you, I have one of the best ways to do this that you could think of. Now, there are several points I need to make so that you're very clear on a few things, but I'm going to tell you a little bit about my method as we go along. And I'll make sure that by the end of this video, you know exactly what I'm doing and how this can impact the video building that you're doing and make you more comfortable and confident that when you make a video that it's going to be useful and popular. All right, so first, start with problems that people have. Your feedback is exactly the right place for this. If you don't have any feedback, you don't have enough viewers or not, go find a competitor, read their feedback, respond to their feedback. Find yourself thinking about what kind of problems that you would ask and what you need to know the answer to. Do the homework to figure out what the answers are. But that's one of the biggest ways to get leads is to find out what people are asking. You're going to learn in YouTube, you may get 100,000 people that watch something and less than 1% will ever say a word to you, will ever comment or feedback or anything. So make sure that you are paying attention when those ones that do, those are the vocal ones. Those are the ones that are subscribing. Those are the ones that are coming back and watching every day. Those are the ones that you want to attract to your channel to have that feedback and that interaction with you. All right. Number two, um, look at what already performs well. Go out on YouTube and search the subject and play with the idea and look around and see what videos already exist and which ones don't exist, which ones are popular, which ones are not. Try to identify why this one was popular and that one wasn't, if they're really, really closely related. That most of the time you'll find that they bundle them together and all the successful ones are all kind of generically successful. And then maybe occasionally you find it with a couple of outliners that aren't successful. And the interesting thing is to figure out why are they not successful. That also helps. Number three, think to yourself, would I click on this idea? Does it really have any value? Please put aside your personal preferences of you have a personal affinity for a particular item and so you like to see it. You know if you have a personal affinity for it. Go out and ask yourself if you didn't like that, would you still want to click on it? Would you still want to be there? So this one sometimes gets skewed by our own personal opinions, but your own personal opinion, you wouldn't be making videos about it if you weren't interested. So to a certain extent, you are the ideal person, but to the next level of that, you don't want to build videos only you like either. It needs to be broader. It needs to be more open to attracting those non-subscribers and appeal to those subscribers alike. So that would be, would you click it? That would be a real good question to ask. Number four, keep items simple and clear. And what I mean by this is if you can't explain it in 10, 12, 15 words in one sentence, then maybe you really haven't thought the idea through well enough yet to understand how you're going to build a title for it, how you're going to build a thumbnail for it. If you can't figure out what search words to put into YouTube to find other videos that match it, maybe you don't understand the problem yourself as well as you think you do. And you should spend some real time understanding what does it take to actually find what you're looking for? Is there a complete gap of just nothing out there? Or are you using the wrong words and not searching in the right place and you've missed something? So do a little bit of homework there and understand that. And that's, finding out that information helps you find out what you use to make it work. Because when you find a couple of those outliers that are functioning correctly, you can take into that. A perfect example of this is I have built dozens of solar systems and released videos on them, and some have done okay and some have done good. But I got to thinking the other day, and I don't remember what tool it was, is it popped up and it showed this video. It had like, 500,000 hits or something. And I'm like, how did this guy get 500,000 views? I do this stuff all the time, all day long. And it just so happens the day before I had created a video that was basically the same thing. And I'm thinking, okay, now what is different about what he's done than what I've done? So I took the time to understand that he had certain aspects of his thumbnail that had some real curiosity pieces. So I took some aspects of that and personalized it to mine. And then he had certain aspects of what he did in his video. And I went back and I re-recorded a little section of it to make sure I covered that so that the retention was there also. And a few little things like that. But in all, it was a video about the same subject, but there was just a couple of basic pieces I had missed dozens of times. And this reviewing his one video and understanding why it was. And then once I did, and I started using those same search terms and using those same things, I realized he wasn't the only one. There were dozens of these out there. And somebody releases one every week or so, and they're always successful. Believe it or not, I release mine, one of 10. And so it does happen, and this homework and all this effort does pay off. Don't think that only the time you spend working on a video is the time that you spend here. YouTube is more than that. YouTube is like building a good movie. The directors are important, the actors are important, the scripts are important, the time that it releases is important, the promotions that go into it are important. Everything, the posters that they hang up in the theaters for you to see when you walk by is important. The commercials that they run to show it to you are important, which is all of your packaging and your thumbnail and your title. All of that is just as important as going and seeing the movie and it being a crap movie and giving it a bad review, or it being a good movie and you watching it all the way through and YouTube giving you 5 stars. All right, moving on now to uh, um, number 5 is focus on curiosity and outcomes. And what I mean by this is you should have a unknown piece to what you're working on, and then you should have a very clear context of how you're going to accomplish that. For example, for this video, I have a method I'm going to use, and I'm going to show you that method. But I led in with you understanding I have a very cool method that I want to show you. And now that curiosity is there, and I just refresh that curiosity to make it through another bullet point here, and then we'll talk about my method. All right. Number 6, use your own videos as signals. And what I mean by this is double down on that works. Listen when something turns crap and you can't find a and you can't get it to work. If you make a video on a certain subject 2 or 3 times and it doesn't do very good, it may just be a bad subject, no matter how much you like it. Listen to what is reported to you unless you can find a reason to not listen to it. Unless you can find a reason why a video did bad. And then when you made it a second time, it did bad again. And when you made it a third time, it did bad again. By the time you get to the fourth time, it's a bad concept. Listen to it and move on and avoid it going forward. All right. Let's talk about strong ideas feel obvious once you see them. This is my 7th point, and I'm going to use it to explain my system because this was the point that made me think about how do I identify my strong ideas? How do I keep up with them? And how do I keep them organized? And it's a very simple process. I bought a big 10,000 pack of index cards. Most of us probably haven't even seen the old index card holders that you had many years ago that you would put phone numbers on and drop them in a thing, but you can still buy these at dollar stores, most grocery stores, Amazon, pretty much anywhere. Now, when I come up with an idea, I take one of these cards and a pen and I write the idea down on here. And I may write some notes about, things I don't want to forget about it or what I was thinking about, what's important and everything. And I put this in a stack and I just throw it over there and I move on. Some days I come up with 5 or 10 ideas. It doesn't matter if they're good ideas or they're bad ideas. They're ideas. I want to get them out of my head, get them written down so I don't forget them. Because I tell you what, I couldn't even tell you how many times I've been, driving down the road or something and I come up with this cool idea. By the time I get home, it's gone. I have cards in my car. I have cards in my wife's purse. I have cards in my RV. I have cards in my office. I have cards at my desk. I have cards at my table next to my TV stand. I have cards in my solar shed. I have cards everywhere because when an idea comes up, I want to write it down immediately so I don't forget it and understand why I thought it was such a cool idea. Now, here's the important part. Here's the part that really, really makes this work. Once every 2 or 3 weeks, I take all the cards and I lay them out on a big long table and I start categorizing them. These are Solar Shed ones. These go to my Build Unbound channel. You may only have one channel, so you may only have one category, but you're probably going to have categories within that. Things you know are going to be popular on the left side, things you know are different that aren't popular on the right side. And then I start sorting them from high to low. High meaning I think this is a really good idea, better than the idea below it. It doesn't have to be a good idea. It has to be better than the idea below it. And that way you just have an order. This one up here at the top is the best idea that I have. This is the next, this is the next, this is the next, this is the next. Now, I can go across the categories that I have and I can say which ones of these actually rise to the effort of me doing some homework, me going out and following the steps that we had before that of did I investigate, is this a good idea? Can I find it in the search engine? Can I come up with a good title? Can I test this idea some way quickly and easily? One of my easiest, fastest way of testing, make a little short about it, release the short. If the short does average, then you might have an idea. If the short does good, then you probably have an idea. If the short does bad, then you probably don't have a good idea. Move on to the next one. Doesn't matter anymore. You have a whole bunch of ideas. The important part is these cards become my roadmap. And then I take my roadmap and I put it on a list of here are the titles I'm going to build over the next couple of weeks. Trying to find my roadmap here. And it may have a list of titles like this or this that says, okay, here's all the videos I'm going to build. Here's all the content I'm going to have. I'll break it down into going out and investigating each one of them and making sure I have good ideas. And now I can focus on the creative aspect instead of worrying about my next idea because I know my next idea is already there. And while I'm doing this over here and I'm focusing on that, more ideas come to mind. And I put those ideas on a card and I put them in the stack. And I put that idea on a card and I put it in the stack. And when I get to the end of sometimes I make it through my whole roadmap of a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks. And sometimes I say, you know what, I'm just going to throw all this away and start over and redo this because I got some really cool ideas I want to include in my roadmap today. So this is my method, and this method works so good that I have adopted it on every single channel I do. It is such a wonderful way of doing it. I even just throw my cards now into a single pile, and when I sort things out, it allows me to say, how much time do I have for each channel and to get all my ideas outlined to do a roadmap. If I'm traveling, I can find those videos that will work in for traveling. If I'm staying at home and need to do some builds for promotions, I got the time to do that also. Anyway, this is a magic process that really works. And I would love to hear how it works for you. And if you modify it to make it even better, please let me know. I want to hear about it. Anyway, my name is Matt. I've got 3 different channels. My solar channel, which is over 20,000 subscribers and has a video about to hit 1 million views. I'm very, very happy with that one. I have my Build Unbound channel, which I started back a few months ago, which is nothing more than just me building things, and it's starting to do pretty good. It has over 400 subscribers now. And then I have this channel, which I just started. We're just getting going here. I hope to see you at the next time on the next video. Make sure you subscribe so together we can improve what we're doing with YouTube and make our channels bigger and better.